Welcome to the presentation of our data paper benchmark dataset for trust assessment and human-robot collaboration. My name is Matthias Rehm, and I'm presenting the paper on behalf of my colleagues Caspar Helt and Ioannis Pontikis and myself. In this paper, we present a dataset that was collected in the DrapeBot project, where we work on collaborative draping of carbon fiber products with large industrial manipulators. In this context, trust becomes a safety concern because if the worker, for example, trusts the robot too much, this can have severe consequences. The aim is thus to develop data-driven trust assessment algorithms to facilitate safe human-robot collaboration. Traditionally, trust assessment is based on questionnaires that are administered post-interaction and give a subjective and summative picture of the interaction with the robot. That, of course, is a good benchmark for trust in the overall system, but it does not help us if we want to monitor trust throughout the interaction and use it as a control parameter, for example, for stopping the robot when the worker shows signs of overtrust. This requires a data-driven approach, and thus we need to find out which data is feasible for trust assessment. Our working hypothesis for the DrapeBot project was that movement during the interaction can be mapped, at least to a certain degree, to levels of trust, with the general idea that movements in case of too little trust would be more cautious, and in case of too much trust, they would be overconfident, which, for example, could be measured through velocity, spatial extent, and other features. The data was collected with an Xsense Avinda tracking suite for full-body tracking that uses 17 inertial measurement units for high-precision skeleton tracking. Drift was corrected by adding Vive trackers to the setup for constant position recalibration. Participants performed a simulated transport and draping task with the KUKA KR300 manipulator, which we can also see in the video here. For the simulation of the task, we used the cotton cloths that were transported from one table, the cutting table, to a second table, the mold. During the draping task, the robot positions and holds the cloth on the second table, and the participant has to drape it over the table in close proximity to the end effector. Different levels of trust were elicited in the participants by varying the speed of the robot. Elicited trust levels were then verified using a standard trust questionnaire. The participants performed each task for 10 minutes, resulting in 24 repetitions on average for each of the tasks. There exist basically no data sets that have been collected and made available for data-driven trust assessment. So our data set is thus a helpful tool for furthering the research in this field and allows for developing and testing trust assessment algorithms for the continuous monitoring of trust levels throughout an interaction. Applications include, for instance, behavior adaptation of a robot to match the trust levels of a user, or like we tried here in DrapeBot, communicating trust levels to the worker in order to signal that safe and unproblematic interaction is possible, or to suggest more careful behavior in case of overtrust. We can see the first prototype test here in the videos in near production conditions at our project partner Dalara for the draping task. The laptop in the foreground is used as a feedback channel in the test, with the red light indicating potentially unsafe levels of trust. The dataset is available on Zenodo under a Creative Commons license with a detailed description of the data itself. It contains around 19 gigabytes of data, and we also provide example Jupyter notebooks on our GitHub to help reading the data into datagrams for further processing. We have now also collected additional data under near production conditions with experienced users, and this data will be made available during the year and will be linked from the original repository here. Thank you very much for listening. You can find more information in our paper, and if you have further questions, you can use the chat function or send me an email. I will be happy to answer any questions or pass them on to my colleagues if I can. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.